And we're back with the third episode here. And we're going to start off with the player draft. So you can see there's an exclamation point right here. We're going to go and do the first year player draft and continue to auto draft until the next pick by Houston. And I'm going to show all the players. Scroll up. There we go. Now, what should we look at here? So as you can see, this is going to look a little bit different than the way that you might have it as default. And we'll go to default. Okay, so this is what you'll look at. We're going to change this to potential. Let's look for a batter. Let's look at batter potential. And we're going to modify it a little bit because we're going to look at greed, work ethic, and leader ability. But let's actually get rid of the greed. Let's just look at leader ability and work ethic. Okay, so I'm actually going to, let's just sort it by the very best, the work ethic and all of that. Now, normally, I'm going to change it to show college players because I think that college players have the less volatility because they're older. And by volatility, I simply mean that they are going to have less spikes in their talents and their potentials. So a guy that's 18 or 19 might have more potential, but he's 18, so he's got a long way to go before he's ready, or he's 19, he's got a long way to go before he's ready, and anything could happen. He could have a serious potential drop because of an injury or just because of, just random luck. So to minimize the amount of bad luck, I really want to just go for college players right now. When I have a better dynasty going and I can afford to draft high school players that might pan out in like 4 to 5 years, then we can look at high school players. But at this point in the draft, we're the 17th pick. Let's try to look and see if we can get a good shortstop. Well, we don't even need shortstop. I just picked it because that was the guy I saw with high work ethic. And let's check out this guy here. Decent. Now, the reason that I do work ethic is because work ethic, people believe, and I've done a video on this as well, and the statistics showed it, the guys with higher work ethic sustain their talents for a longer period of time, and they usually have less volatility, so they have a higher chance of actually reaching those potentials. So we're going to look here, we're actually going to look at just straight power. Who are big straight power hitters? And I like this because he's got good gap and not great speed, but good gap and good home runs with 50 contact. So I actually like this guy. But let's see if we can find someone kind of like this guy too. Now, remember how I was talking about if I want a good eye as well. So this guy's not bad. I'd like more contact, but the home run power and the discipline is pretty nice. This guy might be pretty good. I actually kind of like this guy. 60 home run power and potentially 60 contact with 55 avoid Ks. I think this guy could be a good hitter. So I'm actually going to pick him just because I like him most. So we're going to draft and meet demand. Go to the next pick. And while still looking at power, now we see this guy here. I like him as well because he's got decent contact. Well, that's pretty good contact. 55 is not bad with 55 home run, but he's got really good eye as well. So I like this guy because he fits what we're trying to meet while building our team. So let's go to our next pick, and let's get rid of this filter here and start looking at high school players. So high school players, I don't want this guy because he's got 40 contact. That's way too low. This guy could be good, but we'll probably draft him later on in the draft. This guy's not bad. Not where you want the gap to be, but definitely not bad. What about this guy? Jordan Chang. He probably isn't going to be where I want out of a defensive center fielder. Just looking here. This is all about your preference on how you want to build your team. I think that the best way for us to go about building this team is to look at some position players that have high power and high eye. That way, if they aren't hitting the ball, they're at least drawing walks. That way, the person that's next can hit the home run and score everybody. This is actually a pretty good prospect right here, Thomas Dillard. He's impossible. That sucks. So, with impossible, it actually is possible, but you would need like an amazing offer, and we don't have the budget to offer an amazing offer like that. So he's just gonna have to not play for us. And I actually want to draft this guy Manny Jefferson because he might be a decent player. And maybe I'll do Jordan Chang as well because he's not really what I want in a center fielder defensively, but maybe we can put him in the outfield and he would be not that bad. So gonna go to the next round and let's just do pitchers, and it switches here to pitching potential. Let's customize it for work ethic and leader, and well, that's actually pretty good. 60, 55, 55. He's a relief pitcher. Oh, he can definitely be a starter. Well, I'm probably going to go with this guy then, just because I like him. Now, something that some other people believe will help it is intelligence. So you can see that when partnered, like this guy right here might be a very good pitcher, but unfortunately we don't want him because he has 50 movement, and I don't think that is going to be good for our... And he doesn't have much velocity either. I don't think that would be great for our park, but I'm actually going to draft him anyways. I'll draft him in the later rounds if he's there. I like these guys. There's a lot of good pitchers still available. Normally I don't draft this many rounds either, but talent has gotten much deeper in OTP 17. So, see, this guy's 86, 88 at 21 years old. It would be different if he weren't 21. If he were like 17 or 18 like this guy and he had 88 to 90, that's fine because that's a high school arm. Their velocity will increase. But at 21, if you're throwing 86, you're probably not going to get much better. So I'm not going to go after a guy like that. But I will sort by work ethic and draft this guy. Maybe not the best pick, but he fits everything that I like in a pitcher. And this guy, Ben Bowden, doesn't quite have the stamina to be a starting pitcher, so I'm going to hold off on drafting him. I'll go with this guy just because he's impossible. Maybe... Nah, he is way too low stuff. He's an outfielder, that's why. $75, $60, $50. I'm actually going to draft him because I like him as a relief pitcher. My relief pitchers, I prefer to have somewhat low control but really high strikeouts. And, well, I don't obviously prefer the low control, but I deal with it. This guy could be pretty good, so we'll draft him. And I'm actually going to finish the draft. So we did like eight rounds or so. So I think that's enough. That's usually about... I do usually 6 rounds. And then I let the rest just go to the AI. So we're just going to leave him. We can bring someone up. Like this guy, Nolan Fontana. We'll bring him up and make him our backup. Shortstop. Does he play anything else? No, he just pretty much plays shortstop, so that's what we'll do. Nolan Fontana. Or Fontana as a shortstop. Let's do Preston Tucker in left. Okay, that should be enough. Max Stassi only plays catcher. Yeah. Okay, so okay, cool. So that is done, and we're still at 10 minutes. We got time to finish this month, maybe next month too, and get Correa back off the disabled list. So losing to Texas. Well, we didn't lose. We split. We split the series 2-2. That's good. Even though they're in last place, it's better than getting swept. Not ideal, but better than getting swept. So beating Cincinnati, not sweeping them, but beating them. We are doing terrible against LA this year. LA is crushing us. If you look, we're in third place, or we're in second place. LA's in third. We should be way better than them. Our defense is falling apart. Really, it's at seventh, and it was at first. So that can be partially because of this guy Marwin Gonzalez. Let's go ahead and put Fontana back in AAA, Correa back in the lineup. We'll put him right in there, and do that. Let's actually do this. This is good. And then we're going to copy the lineup and the depth chart. We're just going to paste it over. Just like that. And if you want to get more into it, you can definitely look at splits and see who does better versus left, like do versus lefty pitchers and change your lineup according to so. I'm not going to spend that much time into it just because it's just an offline league for me that I'm doing just a video for, so I'm not trying to like really see the best. But if you're in an online league, then absolutely you do what you've got to do to maximize. And just looking here, I think, yeah, that should be good. That should be good, and the lineups are identical. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so should be good there. Altuve's really coming along. He's batting great now. If you look at the splits, you can see that in May he hit 350. So that's great after the 230 start. And let's go ahead and finish out probably this month, and then we'll go to the All-Star break for the next month. McCullers is good. He's ready to go now, and I think we're going to get rid of Fears. Send him down. He has to clear waivers before. Alright, so I'm thinking I'm just going to trade. Let's just shop him around and see what we can get in return for him. If we can get a catcher upgrade, that'd be amazing. And Uribe is not a bad option, but he's 37 years old, so I'm not trading for him. Bullpen is actually not a bad option either. So just looking at what we can do. John Jay's having a good year. Not a power hitter, though, and we'd prefer to have that. Matt Kemp is extremely overpaid and not performing. And this guy, Justin Ruggiano. No, I don't want him. R.A. Dickey is 41 now. Jeez. But no, we don't want him either. We don't want Ciciliani. I think that's how you say his name. Siciliani? That's probably it. I didn't know Ryan Madsen was even still in the league. Gardner might work out well in this stadium just because of the triples. He did lead the league in triples a couple years ago, but probably lost some of that speed at this point. Jed Lowry. We don't need an upgrade at second base. I think Soria might be the best option, even though he's not doing that well this year. He's got a lot of walks. 5 is a lot. So maybe hold off on him and go with someone like Ziegler, who's having a pretty great year for Detroit anyways, but he's only played 11 innings. Mark Lowe. Yeah, I kind of like this guy. Scooter Gennett, I really like as a second baseman. I didn't even know that he was. Yeah, the Milwaukee traded him. I do like him a lot as a second baseman, but we have Altuve, who can't play anywhere else, and Correa can only play short, though he's really, really good at it. And I'd love to get an upgrade at third base, but I just don't see that happening. So I like Scooter Gennett, but unfortunately, I don't see that playing out. I like DeJesus a lot too, but he's old. So even though he is having a great year, this is tough. JB Shuck, another good guy that hits for average but not power, and we don't want that. So I'm thinking we're just going to trade for a. I guess we could go with Chase Headley, but he's out for a while. Partially torn labrum's out for one more week. I'm not very high on Utley anyways, or Headley anyways. Brandon Moss. Yeah, the guy's just not hitting the ball. But let's take a look at St. Louis, and let's look at their field. We're gonna go to settings here, and yeah, see the modifiers are not in the favor of Brandon Moss. Let's go back, and let's actually make this trade for either Mike Morse. I'm thinking Brandon Moss. Let's actually trade for Brandon Moss here, and we'll complete the trade. And there we go. Let's make the move. Who are we gonna bench in favor of Moss? Probably. Well, maybe that wasn't a great idea. Maybe we can trade him for someone else. No, we can't. All right. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the best idea since Rasmus is actually playing pretty decent, and so is George Springer, of course, hitting a bunch of home runs as usual. Great player. And then Gaddis is hitting 256 with 9 home runs, on pace for 20. I think Moss can hit a lot of home runs, but our biggest upgrades really need to be Valbuena and Castro. Even though Valbuena is on pace for 24 home runs, Castro's not really what you want, especially for paying him $5 million. But catcher is a hard position to get a lot of productivity out of. So, anyways, let's bring up Lance McCullers. Bring him up, get him in there. All right, and we're going to go ahead and finish this month, and I'll cut the video. Just gonna go a couple games here. 6-3, 1-5, 2-1, and we lose. So I really hate Los Angeles. Always beating us, but we're not in a bad spot. We do need to make a move to improve at third base and possibly catcher. However, Lance McCullers did great in his only start. He went 8 innings, only allowed 3 hits with 2 walks. And I believe that was against Anaheim. Or not Anaheim. Yeah, well, Los Angeles. Angels of Anaheim. So, not bad at all. We will try to move Brandon Moss. Actually, we might put him at first base. Yeah, that's what I'll do. We'll move Duffy to third base, and we're actually going to put him down. We'll worry about this next video. I'm at 20 minutes now, so we'll go ahead and worry about that next video. Thanks for watching, guys.